Alright, let's take a quick look at what it looks like to build an app with Zenrise, gluing app state and component state together via transformers. So right on the left hand side I have an app state that my developer gave me. You can see it's app state for a chat app. So we have things like channels, selected channels, settings, app title. On the right hand side I have my components. So I'm going to start building my component tree by dragging these components onto the canvas, and as I drag them out I'm going to be able to actually glue them to the app state. So in this case I have a tab control that I've put out here, and I'm going to select the transformer that I want. So these are provided by the developer. So I have a channels tabs transformer. And so I can see that the channel tabs transformer expects a couple different inputs. And what I'm going to do is actually glue these inputs to different points on the state tree. So the channels is going to be input is going to be glued to the channel's state. Select this channel, and for com I'm just going to type in the path controls. So go ahead and save that, and let's put in a little text view here. And so I'll go in here and let's just set this to content. And so I'm just going to hard code example. So it's not going to be glued to the app state. It's just going to be hard coded. So just put in some example text here. Go ahead and save. And this creates a serialized representation of my layout. So I'll go ahead and just paste it in here. This is what I've built up, and including all the glue and whatnot. And let's see. So now we have our tabs up here. This is being read from the app state and then rendered into our tab component. And we have example text down here. But actually for the example text, instead of having it hard-coded, let's go ahead and actually glue it to a point in the tree. So we'll have the selected channel here. So we'll save. And so now as the selected channel changes in our state, our text component is going to update. So we can see that as I click around, it's actually showing the ID of the tab that's currently selected. So let's change this so that actually instead of showing the ID, it shows the title, and we'll use a transformer for that. So current channel name transformer, and it needs channels and the selected channels. And this transformer knows how to convert it from there. So we'll go ahead and save that. Update our app. Refresh. And now we have the title showing inside of our component. Alright, so let's get rid of this and actually see something a little bit more interesting. Let's build a quick little chat app. And layout and styling are also handled, but I'm not going to be going over that today, so it's just going to be a little bit messy. Alright, so let's do this iteratively. So once again, we'll start with our tabs up here. We want to have our tabs, channels tabs transformer. We're going to glue it to different points on the app state tree. Once again, we'll just type this in. We'll save that. Let's make sure that that's working. Okay, it's rendering twice, and that's just the default behavior of the horizontal split. So now let's put in a scroll view here. And this is going to actually have our messages. And we're going to use another transformer. Channel messages scroll view, and we can see that it takes the channels, the selected channel, and it knows how to pick out the messages from there. So once again, make sure this works. So the styling is off a little bit, obviously, but there's one message in this one, and as I click around we can see that it's changing and showing the messages in the different channels here. And if there were more than one message, they would be scrolling down, which we'll see in just a second. So now let's put in a text area. And for this text area, we're actually going to use an identity transformer. And this one is a little bit special, where we're just going to pass through data that we already have formatted. We don't need a transformer. And in that case, what it does is actually queries the component itself and asks, all right, what does this component need? And so, for example, this component needs a placeholder, which we'll just add in here. It needs a message ID, which we'll hard code. And we have controller messages already wired up by our developer in this app to handle this stuff. So as a designer, I can just go in here and type these in. So user message updated, and for comms, same thing. So comms and controls. So go ahead and save this, and let's see if that's rendering how we would expect it to. Let's go ahead and copy the piece. So we'll refresh this. Okay, so you can see that our placeholder is in there, and if we pop this in, as we type, we see that messages are being sent. So probably good. So now let's go ahead and add a button. And this button, once again, we're going to do identity transformer. So it'll query the button component, which needs text, and we'll say post. The message ID that it's going to send is user message submitted, and it's going to send that over the controls com. So we'll go ahead and save that, and fired it up. Okay, so now if we say, is this wired up? I'll click on post, and we see this actually in here in the scroll view. So another example, and fire that, and we see that the messages are being added to this current channel. And if we switch to a different channel, you can see that we're in a different channel here. Alright, so let's do something a little bit more interesting. And let's go ahead and add a drop-down menu here. So we have a nice user menu transform. And this is going to see if it's open based off of a path inside of the app. So instead of settings, menus, user menu, open. So we're drilling down to that path. We're going to send the messages for this menu over the controls column. And we could hard code the current user email, but that would be a little bit silly. Current user email is down here. So as current user email changes, it'll change here. So we're going to save that. Refresh. So now we have, once again, the default behavior of the split view is to render twice. So we can see we have a working menu. All the other stuff is working as well. We have a logouts here, which is built into the transformer. So I click on that, it actually logs us out. And one last thing, let's go ahead and get a list of users in a channel. So we'll use the channel users scroll view transform. Channels is just channels, so we're going to glue it to that, and we're going to glue it to select a channel. And this transform knows how to look up the users for that, given those inputs. And there we go. We'll save that. Alright, so we can see we have Sasha and NB at Bushi.do in this channel. And if we switch to a different channel, we have just Sasha in this one, and Sean and Sasha and NB in this one. So once again, the styling is off. For the styling, what we do is we actually use constraint-based systems. But there's an extra compilation step that I'm not showing here. So we could, for example, take this menu here, the drop-down menu, constrain it to be in the top, take up the width of its parents. Same with this, to take up all of the available space. but the compiler is a little bit busted right now, so I'm not going to show that. Yeah, so that's an example of building an app by building up a components tree and then gluing those components into the app states tree in such a way that both remain unpolluted by the others.